Hello everybody, Flamin' Shark back with another video, and today we're going to be reacting to Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated Season 2, Episodes 8 through 11. I'm pretty excited for this, another 4 episodes of Scooby-Dooby-Doo, and we are creeping our way towards the end, ever slowly but surely, I suppose. But another 4 episodes, should be fun. Obviously, where we left off, we had Pericles and Mystery deciding that they had to off Cassidy, so that's pretty fucked up. Assuming she's not actually gonna die, but I suppose you never know. The show hasn't really given me much indication to think that they would go that far, though, so I'm assuming she's gonna be fine, but maybe she will. I mean, one, she's pretty badass, so she's not gonna be the easiest person to take out, but also maybe she'll get some help from Mystery Incorporated and kind of fully end up at the point where she's pretty much fully sided with our main characters. There was a lot of interesting stuff in the last episode, or last set, of course, but I guess specifically the last episode was absolutely fucking ridiculous. Besides the ending with the stuff with Angel and Mystery and Pericles and all that nonsense, like, everything up to that point was ridiculous. And that includes the other Mystery scene with Velma. Oh my god, that was so stupid and so funny. So all in all, really ridiculous episode. Maybe one of the last truly just unadulteratedly fun episodes of the series, as again we start to creep our way ever closer to the ending. Things are going to get more and more serious and more plot intensive. Definitely enjoying it, though. It's been a lot of fun. I'm very curious, like I said, still where Hot Dog Water is going to play into this in the long run, and obviously with all of the old Mystery Incorporated players in play now, with Fred's parents, with Mystery, with Pericles, with Angel, like, everyone's in play, and they're all kind of playing a game with each other while also playing a game with our Mystery Incorporated. So it's a pretty complicated web that's being woven right now. This episode we're about to jump into is called something like The Haunting. It was like Haunted Mountain, Nightmare on Haunted Mountain. What was this called actually? The Night on Haunted Mountain. Okay, I was in the ballpark. I have no idea what this could be about, because we haven't really ever had a mountain in this series, so I guess somewhere on the outskirts of Crystal Cove, we're going to be on a mountain, and they're going to spend the night on the mountain, and the mountain's going to be haunted. That's kind of a very literal interpretation of that title, but I don't really think I could do anything better than that. I guess we'll see what it's all about, but it's time to watch some more Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Okay. Oh, fuck. Whew. Okay, let me just gotta try to line myself up as good as I can for this. Let's jump into Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, Season 2, Episode 8, in 3, 2, 1, and play. Not in the slightest. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Holy guacamole. Oh my goodness. What the fuck? That was Season 2, Episode 8 of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, and that was a great opener. I enjoyed the... I mean, it's kind of ridiculous that there was this fucking giant Spanish ship from hundreds of years ago on a mountain that I assume the idea is supposed to be that damn near no one noticed until fucking, I guess, what's her name? Hot Dog Water, Marcy did. So, like, what the fuck? Ignoring that, because it's a giant ass ship, and it's even near a little fucking hick town, so, like, what the hell? Besides that, of course, this episode was fantastic. I really enjoyed the Dark Lilith was very terrifying looking and very agile, which kind of added to it. And again, It made sense given that Hot Dog Water is just such a fucking genius that she could come up with that type of shit. So that kind of adds up with what we know about her, what we've experienced with her in the past. So I really liked that. And you just got some really good stuff. I really enjoyed this episode. I think this episode was really cool. I like the episodes. I think it's really cool structurally, because this is something that Mystery Incorporated is starting to do more and more, is these episodes that start off like just an ordinary Scooby-Doo episode and turn into, but then over the course of solving the mystery, you find out that they actually have a direct connection to the stuff that they have a direct connection to what they've been searching for this entire time. So even though the episode felt normal when you were originally, by the end of it you're like, oh wow, that was actually an important episode. Obviously in this episode we literally ended up getting another piece of the Planispheric Disk. So we have 3, Pericles has 2, and I wouldn't, it's kind of weird. I love what Marcy did as a character. I love that she's, being just amazing. But I think it only makes sense that we end up 3 and 3. So if she gave that one up to Mystery Incorporated, I do hope that Pericles and Mr. E get the next one, and then they're 3 and 3. And I'm be curious what happens then when our bad guys, our villains, have half the pieces, Mystery Incorporated have the other half, and it's like, are they going to be, are they just going to try and protect them from them at all costs? Is there going to be a point where they end up making an agreement to bring them together? Do we see a point where they all align together? That seems very unlikely at this stage. But maybe a third party, like Fred's parents, end up with the last piece, the Planispheric Disk. Because right now, they don't really have a role to play in this because they don't have a piece of the disc. And there's only one disc piece left that's unaccounted for. And I feel like if Cassidy gets it, Cassidy I could see trying to, destroy it or trying to, hide it somewhere it would never be found type thing. I could see Cassidy, if she got her hands on it, that she would maybe try and make sure nobody gets it, whether it be Mystery Incorporated or Pericles and Mr. E. So I guess she's also a wild card in all of this, but I am really curious what happens once the final piece of the disc is discovered. What's the next move once all 6 disc pieces are accounted for, right? Because there's no point of doing anything too crazy until all the disc pieces are accounted for. But once they are, it's what's the next play? How does Mystery and Pericles try and manipulate Mystery Incorporated or blackmail or strong-arm them or whatever they're going to try to do? How do they actually obtain the pieces that Mystery Incorporated has? That's kind of where the next trick is, the next problem to solve. But it's going to be interesting because there's only one more of these to find. There's a decent chance we could even find it in this set. We do still have 3 more episodes. That was just the opener of this new Scooby-Doo video, so I'm definitely very excited to see where all of this goes. But definitely a great start to the set. I really enjoyed that episode. Thought it was very fun. And I'm ready to check out episode 9. Let's see what it's titled. Grim Judgment. Very, Judgment, you obviously think, that could be, some sort of weird, demon cop, or demon literal judge, or whatever, but something that's making its own judgments on people and what all this shit is. I don't know. I'm struggling to say what I'm saying, but obviously it's going to be about, judging people for their sins. Some sort of demon or ghost or supernatural creature. Obviously it's most likely not going to actually be, because it does seem like this show is going to end with actual supernatural shit at the very end, because we are teasing that this Crystal Cove mystery is real supernatural, and that's what it's all building up to. But whatever this is going to be someone who is kind of doing their own vigilante justice type thing, I assume. Which I guess in a way Mystery Incorporated can kind of relate to. But this could be fun. Interesting title. So let's check it out. Let's jump into the next episode of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. What the fuck? Alright, that was episode 9 of Mystery Incorporated Season 2. We got to see Brad and Judy doing stuff. You know, they got to be a pretty... oh, my computer's kind of humming a little bit. Not sure why. But that was episode 9 of Mystery Incorporated Season 2, like I said, and we got to see Brad and Judy being, like, very relevant in the episode. They won over Shaggy and Scooby with food. Of course, they won over Fred with, like, a weird combination of traps and being the parents that he's never had that are, like, unlike... It's weird, because unlike the mayor, who was, like, an asshole, but also kind of, like... The difference was like, the mayor, he cared about... I do believe that the Mayor Jones cared about Fred in, like, a weird way, but also, it was a weird dynamic. It was, you know, the mayor was an asshole, but... And I don't know. Like, with Brad and Judy, they probably do care about him, and that's probably what's going to eventually lead them down the right path. But just like the mayor, the old mayor, Mayor Jones, they are trying to use him, and that's kind of what's really tragic about Fred is all the parental figures in his life have done nothing but try to use him his entire life, which is really sad, really fucked up. And it does kind of make it interesting, and obviously it's kind of a meme that his parents are like these legendary trappers, and so it's in his blood, but it does make a lot of sense why he does have these obsessions over whether it's traps or Daphne or whatever, because he's trying to fill the hole in his heart that was left by his various parental issues. And that's something that is definitely interesting about his character, because they're not really doing anything like that with any of the other characters. The other characters all do have, like, you know, parents in their lives that aren't total shit. And, yeah, so it kind of gives him a bit of a unique dynamic compared to the rest of them. And obviously his biological parents are exploiting that right now, which is pretty fucked up. And like I said, they've basically gotten through to Fred, Scooby, and Shaggy at this point. The only ones that they have to win over are Velma and Daphne. And you know Velma's going to be the last holdout. Maybe they win over Daphne soon. But Velma, of course, being Velma, and especially the way that she's been portrayed in this iteration of Scooby-Doo, she's very suspicious. She's even, you know, gone kind of back and forth with whether she should, you know, work with Mr. E and see. Like, there's a lot of shit that she does. So she, of all people, she's kind of all the characters in Mystery Incorporated, she's the one that's the least naive and the most playing the game of the adults. You know, obviously Marcy is very much in that game as well. But the adults are playing this fucking game and they don't give a fuck, right? And they know how serious this game is. The OG Mystery Incorporated, the 5 of them, Pericles, Mystery, Angel, Brad, and Judy. But Velma is more or less playing that game as well. So she's kind of, which kind of gives her that interesting dynamic where she's almost caught between the kind of her friends and everything else, because I think she kind of understands how serious this is. And I'm not saying the others don't, but I think the others don't really think about it as much as they maybe should. But that might be for the best, because it allows them to keep pushing forward. So it's really interesting. I think the dynamics are really interesting here between the two generations in this series. It's pretty fun. But that was a good episode. It was definitely a good episode. It's nice to see that Brad and Judy are making progress. It's nice to see that Cassidy's just hanging around. She's just chilling. She's just spying on everyone and trying to figure out what to do. And I don't know. I'm curious where they go with her. She, like I said, is a huge wild card in all of this. I would say right now Marcy and Cassidy are the two big wild cards that they could do a lot of different things. It does seem like they're both going to end up siding with our Mystery Incorporated, but you never know. And like I said, Brad and Judy and Pericles and Mystery are kind of in their own respective factions, even though Hot Dog Water is part of the Mystery Pericles, you know, thing. Woo! Okay. Fun stuff. But yeah, like I said, it was interesting. I also like that Ethan and... Oh god, it wasn't Glenn. What the fuck was the name of the other one? Wasn't Gabe, wasn't Glenn. I've totally forgotten the name of the other guy. But the two of them, I like how they had an involvement in episode 8 and then episode 9 as well. I like how it made... It was kind of just a cool little bit of continuity to not only have a returning character from a previous episode, but to have those characters be involved in consecutive episodes. And now, we're going to be done with them because they got fucked. They're going to get arrested or whatever. But it was kind of cool how they got to be in back-to-back episodes. I liked that quite a bit. So, fun stuff. Anyways, episode 10 is called Night Terrors. Okay, so we're probably going to have another nightmare situation. We've had a couple. We've actually kind of, I've literally last set, in fact, we actually explored like a kind of nightmare kind of concept in episode 4 of season 2. So I'm curious how they're going to play this. I'm curious what this is going to be about in this episode because, this is something that, we have explored in this. So, and night terrors do make it sound like we're dealing with some sort of nightmare a gimmick in this episode, so that should be interesting. But let's check it out. So let's jump into season 2 episode 10 of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. Okay, so that was season 2, episode 10 of Mystery Incorporated. I actually really liked that episode as well. There was, in the end, a perpetrator at fault, and I liked that his motive was something as simple as just, I want to fucking leave and go somewhere nice and warm. I could respect that, and I like how he was legitimately happy about potentially going to jail or even prison, because he's like, at least it'll be fucking warm. Fuck this place. So I could respect that. That was actually pretty funny. And yeah, we found an interesting book that's gonna help us potentially use the discs, as well as we had Angel over there trying to point Velma in the right direction. I also like that she had a Hex Girls poster, because we know that she's very much a simp for the Hex Girls, which was cool. I'm still absolutely hoping we get one more Hex Girls appearance in season 2. I really think we should get them again before this show's over. I really want a season 2 Hex Girls episode. I think they're too fucking goated, so I would fucking love it if we got them one more time. Probably not gonna happen, but I am hoping for the best there. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed that episode. I thought that episode was really fun, and I'm curious what is going to come, because, like I said, we are gradually creeping along, and I feel like we're having very good individual stories. Like, I think even outside of just the whole, outside of even the plot developments, which of course help, I think, the overall interest, I actually think just the one-off stories, even when you exclude the plot developments, the long-term plot developments, I actually think the one-off stories have been very strong lately. Like, I definitely think season 2 is doing quite a good job with just their mysteries in general, even excluding the more consistent progression of the main story, which is very appreciated. And I do think the show would have even been a little better if it was a little more consistent in the first season. I understand the nature of it, but there were definitely some episodes in the first season that I thought were just not that bad. There wasn't really anything that was really bad or anything, but there were some episodes that were just kind of mid, I think. But overall, the show has been very fun, and I definitely am interested in where it's going to go, because we are, as I keep saying, we're creeping towards the end. I believe after it's going to be wild, because after we finish this video, we still have one more episode to react to. We'll only have 15 episodes left. So that's pretty insane to think about. But I I don't really have a lot of specifics to say. I mean, obviously, the peak of that episode was Shaggy and Daphne making out, and that was interesting to say the least. And the fact that Scooby, Velma, and Fred saw that was fucking hilarious. And Scooby and Fred were just went into total fucking shock, and then they had some denial there, which was pretty great. And I didn't know Velma's just like, oh god, what the fuck. That was awesome. That was really funny. So, yeah. It feels like a lot of these episodes, there's been like at least one moment that's just been fucking great. Oh my god. And the fucking comment about Velma say, about like, how could we tell if they... Still shit, that was hilarious. But yeah, that was episode 10 of season 2. So, one more to go in this video, the Midnight Zone, which, you know, I hear that and I immediately think Twilight Zone, but something going on at midnight, potentially. I mean, when I, like, the Midnight Zone, I mean, Twilight Zone's a little more, surrealist than Scooby-Doo, but when you really think about it, in a lot of ways, Scooby-Doo and the Twilight Zone are kind of similar, even if, again, like I said, Scooby-Doo has more of a simplistic, charming, maybe at times a bit more childish kind of interpretation, and also the fact that the mysteries will be solved, whereas the Twilight Zone's a little more surreal and fucked up, and oftentimes leads with a realization that is not very positive. But I don't know. I mean, the title, I think, is definitely a reference to the Twilight Zone. I'm not entirely sure what a Twilight Zone episode of Scooby-Doo would look like. So it might just be a reference to the Twilight Zone title-wise, but the actual title itself might mean something different in the context of Mystery Incorporated. So, curious to see what that's about. So let's jump into Season 2, Episode 11 of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. And yeah, it's almost 6 o'clock. It's 5:54 right now. So, yeah, like I said, you know, talking about Velma not sleeping, but the difference is I actually, when I'm up at times like this, I'm actually quite awake because I'm just on different weird sleep schedules, and this one's about waking up super fucking early and then recording after a little while.
She saved us.
Oh, God.
I guess maybe we were wrong about Cassidy.
It was complicated, just like you, Velma. It's complicated. Holy fuck! Wow. So, it's interesting, right? Because they could still plot twist us, right? She could still show up 10 episodes from now near the end and have this big moment. And I wouldn't put it past the show to, like, do that, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume they killed Cassidy, because they did it probably the only way they could, which was off-screen, and they even kind of said, like, oh, she totally made, yeah, like, even like, the way they did it, the way that the characters reacted to it, the whole thing made it feel more legit, because it felt like the most realistic way they could do it, given the fact that this show is a relatively it's a kid show, but it's, you know, it's also dancing a fine balance of being like more, you know, one of the more mature kid shows. We've talked about this. I've reacted to a lot of them over the last God, shit, we're going on close to 10 years. This is actually a show that does predate me doing the reactions on YouTube, but you get my point. Really fucking good episode, though. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was ridiculous. Like, this episode was so absurd that I didn't even know what to do with it. I probably didn't like the episode as much as a lot of you. I'm sure this is considered one of the best episodes of the series because it's chaotic, it's wild, you got fucking killer German robots, that's pretty badass. Like, you got a lot of craziness going. There were some big reveals. I think the last 5 or so minutes of this episode was fantastic, But I do think that it was almost like so ridiculous that I didn't even know what to say. Like, I was kind of just like taken aback, like, what the fuck is going on? It was an absurd episode, but the ending certainly, I think, really brought it up. I mean, it was still a good episode regardless, and again, I love an episode with a lot going on, especially as far as progression to the story, but it was, I don't know, for whatever reason, it didn't quite hit for me the way that it probably should have, but I will say that obviously the ending with Cassidy was absolutely fantastic. We got a heroic sacrifice, and now we've opened the door for the possibility of other characters dying. Again, obviously Mystery Incorporated is going to be fine, but as far as like the other characters in the like Pericles, Mr. E, Brad and Judy shouldn't be off the table if Cassidy died. Right, so that was fucking sick. I really liked that. I hope she did, because I don't like, here's the thing, they haven't done a fake death, so like they could do it, and this is the one, and like it will work. But I just think there's a lot more strength in the fact that they were able to, in one form or another, pull that off and actually do it. And I really like how like Pericles and Mystery were like, we're going to take her out, like kill her, and then presumably they succeeded. I think that's really cool, and I think it really does establish another level to how Mystery Incorporated will view the villains, and really truly view them as villains, because they were responsible for the death of someone that, they had mixed feelings about Cassidy, but in the end, someone who, at the very least, they did not feel in any way, shape, or form did she deserve death, right? So in that sense, it does, I think, further establish Mystery and Pericles as villains, which I think is really cool. Because, like I said, that it's been kind of nuanced a bit in this series. Like, they were certainly bad guys and antagonists, but true villains, I don't know. I think that was debatable, and now I think they, at the very least, our protagonists will see it that way. So that's pretty cool. I love Cassidy. I thought she was a great character. It's not like I'm gonna like cry over her or anything. I didn't have that type of connection to her. And as much as I love this show, I don't necessarily see this being the type of show to get me that far. You never know. I don't want to speak too soon. There are still 15 episodes of Mystery Incorporated, but we're 2 episodes away from the 3/4 mark of the series, so, this is a good time to pull the trigger on something like that, and I definitely, obviously see why this was another set-ending episode, but just absolute fantastic stuff. I think that was one of the best episodes of the show. I personally, like I said, it was kind of weird for me. I personally wasn't the biggest fan, and I personally probably just didn't like it as much as a lot of people, but I can't deny the significance of the episode and how well done, the Cassidy death. I mean, I'm just going to say death. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume they killed her off. The Cassidy death was that fucking cool. And I think it does confirm what I thought about this. It feels like that makes the rest of the show. We've entered a stage now where it's like this. I feel like that was the beginning of the end of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. We still have a lot of episodes left. We have 15 episodes, but I feel like, I'm sure there's still going to be a few more, like, fun moments, and, like, it's not, but I feel like it's just taken another level of serious. Like, I feel like the story just changed because one of these characters just died, and I feel like that, it changes the dynamics, it changes everything. Now everything's taken on a new degree of seriousness. Everything's taken on a new degree of what the fuck just happened. I can't believe Cassidy actually died, and like how that's going to affect the different members of Mystery Incorporated in their own ways. I think, obviously Daphne, this might push Daphne towards Fred. This might be the push she needed, and I like how they did that. And obviously I think Velma, given the fact that, Velma and Cassidy obviously have quite a bit in common, whether it's, an awkward connection with Mystery, or even the fact that in the end Cassidy, back when she was Velma's age, she was a lot like Velma. She's the Velma analog. So I think Velma is another character that will probably be pretty affected by Cassidy's death. And it's going to be really interesting to see how they portray that in the next video, which I think we're only doing like a couple episodes. I think our next reaction is going to be on the shorter side, because we've been getting through it pretty fast. We did a 4-episode set here, a 4-episode set, and then the first one of season 2 was 3, but I think we have a shorter video coming up. Might even be 2. I think we are going to end up slowing down a little bit with our sets, if I remember correctly. I'd have to check them to be sure, but whatever the case may be, I really loved that episode. I thought that was a fantastic episode of Mystery Incorporated, and I'm definitely excited for how the fallout of Cassidy Williams' death is handled, and how this probably pushes the series into its endgame. And I'm really looking forward to it. That was a sick set of episodes. I really enjoyed all 4 of them. I thought they were all fun in their own ways. Like I said, the last one was ridiculous, but where we ended up was fantastic. So I'm not going to take too much away from it. But like, what the fuck was that? Like, that was... I feel like that has to be a meme. That episode has to be like a meme in like the Scooby-Doo fandom. I don't know, or whatever. Like, because the fucking killer robots, like, but actual like fucking like, they were pretty terrifying though. Like, what the fuck? Sure, why not? But yeah, that was a fun set of episodes. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction as well. You know, it's interesting because I'm gonna have to make a decision pretty soon on the replacement series for this, because I had a series in mind for a long time, and I don't know, like, I still plan to do that series at some point, but I might not do it right away. And then I don't know, there's just a lot going on, so I actually have no idea what's gonna replace this. Like, in all of my other slots, I'm like, it's really, you know, really planned out and thought out, and I really have no fucking clue what I'm gonna do after Mystery Incorporated, because I had a series in mind. It'll probably still be that show, but I don't know. Anyways, I think that's all I gotta say. So if you guys want to support my channel, my Patreon's down below in the description. My Discord server is also down below in the description. You could also, I guess, super thanks me. A couple people have done that, so that's also, I guess, an option. Might as well mention that in the videos. If you like the video, you know that if you want to, you can always do it that way. But anyways, that's pretty much all I got to say. So without any further ado, it's time for me to bid you adieu. The Flamin' Shark signing out. Hope you guys have a wonderful, fantastical day, and I'll see you next time with another video. Thanks for watching. Peace.